That's quite interesting, actually. I quite enjoy that. That's pretty nice. Anyway, welcome to Cobblestone. The castle is where our battleground will be for the final map here. Who's qualifying for the grand finals? Who's going to take that last spot? Extatus and Nexus. We're about to find out. It's pistol round. USP's out. The fuse kit for Monty and utility-based buy for Extatus. Meanwhile, double flash smoke for SXE and Kevlar for everybody else on the Nexus side. Zello pushes on out, gets faked in, and Frozen takes an immediate headshot from the Extatus side. Now, the T's are going to try to see if they can bracket in the CTs, but Frozen's going ham. 3 kills already, 3 nice crisp headshots. BTN and SXE, last 2 in a 2-on-4. 2 versus 3 now as BTN takes one back. He's got the bomb control, and they're making their way slowly onto A.
Yeah, it's getting a little problematic right now already because the last 2 players of the Nexus side both don't have armor. That is never something you really want to have. Monty also has no armor, but he has the kit. Last 5-second defuse as possible. It is just about BTN to say, quickly, I'm on the side, get that planned, and that will make it all just economically better for the Nexus side. I mean, SXE has that P250, could make something work with it, but we know this gun is not that favorable into long range. Forget what I was saying, it is SXE picking up another one. That is beautiful. Nexus taking this, and you know, the P250, I don't know what you kind of feeling you have about it, but long range headshots is not really something you want that pistol for, but that USPS didn't do it in EA.
Yeah, SXE should not have been able to land those shots. That was just insanity. Nexus come back together by the end of it after a 3K from Frozen, find themselves a pistol. He shouldn't have won that. He just shouldn't have been able to take those picks. A P250 is what you take to find a close range headshot, just catching one of the CTs off guard. Like you don't try and take that long range fire, but SXE still pulled it off. I'm impressed. It's really Counter-Strike pistol offensive out today as the CZs, P250s and 5.7s will be out for the Extatus, forced by Kevlar helmets, the fuse kit on Frozen with another flash smoke as well to hold down the Nexus lineup here. They are making their way in towards B site. They got themselves UMPs, they got themselves AKs, they got themselves the standard works for a forced by conversion. And it looks like with the bomb on its way towards middle, it's going to end up being a B fake. Or maybe they're just rotating very slowly in towards this B site, trying to see if they can hit it down and just take out Extatus. This should just be around on the board for Nexus regardless. But we'll see how it does go. Minute to go. Extatus holding down a stack on a B site. 4 players. Here come the flashes. Here come the smokes. It's execution time for Nexus.
Yeah, and as we see right now, this will be a little bit more complicated for Extatus. It could be actually double if make a change with the close range plays. And as we're just talking about it, he does exactly that. Questo needs a long range of time with that ZZ, but he's lucky enough that they're not coming in quickly. This is the 2 versus 2. Massive damage has been dealt by Extatus, and it's only on one player that has 19 HP, excuse me. That's getting a little bit excited here. Zello has not much of a chance right here, because one pistol hit will be really critical for him right here.
Zello, 19 HP. Extatus have done huge to bring this one back into contention for the pistol. Bombs on his back, trying to look for that plant. 15 seconds, but it doesn't matter because Zedco is there to take him right out of the action. It will be a round stolen away by the Extatus side. 1-to-1 conversion away. Now Nexus going to go force buy, or they're going to go ahead and eco here. Looks like it will be forced buy with the Tech 9s, Glocks here, Kevlar helmet as well, smokes as well, and well, utility buy for BTN as well. We've been called a stop. Okay, we are going to have a quick technical pause here. From what I understand, 2 Nexus players have crashed, so we're going to have a quick technical pause. Of course, this is how it works. Don't worry, the scoreline is still 1-to-1. This is just how eBot works and how it sort of like resets itself in a couple of seconds. Do not worry for folks. We will get back into the matchup in just a couple of seconds once we do get our 2 Nexus players back in. But 1-for-1, Nexus going up with a force buy. This looks like it will be a very interesting round here.
You know, I have one question for you, actually, and I was always asking people this. If you could have one thing in CSGO changed, what would it be? Give me one.
Pistol
Give me
balance.
just...
And I've just got to refer back to SXE's long-range headshots with the P250 just to prove my point. Like, you just don't do that. You do not do that. You can't do that, and you can't get away with that. Like, I just do not think that that's the weapon that should be used for mid to long-range fights. Close ranges at best. Like, just no way. Just no way,
Actually,
man.
I thought that would be that answer is way too reasonable for me. I thought of something really funny, but actually that is a really good point. The pistol melons, there was, I think it was Launders really writing an interesting comment about that, how it should be changed with movement speed. But that is another point. Still, pistols, as we were just talking about, are on the Nexus side, as Extatus took a round out of their hands, slapped it away, and said, it's ours now. 1-1. The tie is already on the board. In round number 3, Extatus shouldn't have the slightest bit of a problem with the hold on any of the sides right here.
He's going to opt to do a 180 on that force buy, go for the P250s instead. No Kevlar, no utility. Should be a relatively easy round for Extatus, and then looks like Nexus might try for the bomb plant and the rifle buy up in the next round, which, you know what, that's relatively smart. I quite like it when players do that. They just decide to sacrifice the round early, get ourselves the advantage in terms of the long game, and try it and see if we can shut them down like that. And Nexus, obviously, you know, with a chance there off the back of that reset back into 1-1. Going to take the opportunity there. So, Tech9's Glocks rushing their way on towards the B site. This shouldn't be one that they can win, but they can do some damage. They might be able to get a bomb plant. Actually, it will be the P250s that try go to work. Zelo's going to take that one. But Devil and Quaystone come in with 2 back instead. Quaystone with another one onto Zelo. 3 versus 2. 3 versus 1 as Monty comes onto Cosmine as well. SXE, last man alive. Glock in hand. Standard eco. This is how this all goes down. 2-1 favor of Extatus.
Yeah, that round was expectable like that. It's more likely surprising that much damage has been dealt onto the Extatus side. I mean, if we take a look at it right now, 2 guns have to be bought up, and this hurts at least the economy of Questone and Zetgo, but not majorly. The problem that will occur, though, if Nexus shuts down Extatus right now, that could be an economic issue that will occur. But first of all, let us see how they will approach this round. A lot of players are ready to make their way onto A, where Frozen waits. He has no op, only an M4, and he's playing it quite passively, actually.
4 AKs out for the Nexus side. UMP as well, and this is what I'm talking about, you know, rifles, limited utility, but 3 smokes is enough to get out a decent few angles blocked for the executions here. They're just going to have to worry about, you know, the aim foremost. Will actually be Frozen that takes that first pick. Traded back by Cosmine, but Cosmine's taken up to 10 HP already, so Frozen still making his presence felt even from beyond the grave. It's a 4 versus 4 now. Bombs on its way up towards site. Let's see if they can get that one down as soon as humanly possible. BTN just worried about that cross there. Use the smokes to block off connector and the balcony area. But BTN's on site now, waiting for a peek. You can see he's watching that angle from the cubby area, expecting someone to peek there, but I don't think he's got the angle. No one's there, and no one's going to find it. It will just be the bomb plant coming through. And the retake on for the Extatus lineup. Here comes actually a lot of utility over there. Going to try and make it work onto flying into the division of the T side. And BTN is going to take down Quaystone, sprays his way onto the second. Zelo comes in as Monty gets one trade. Zedco with one back. It's a 2 versus 1 situation. And Zelo knows exactly where to peek to shut down the bomb defuse from coming in. It will be a second round on the board for Nexus. Even in the scoreline, back to 2-2 in Extatus. Economy looking broken once again.
Yeah, and as mentioned, that is exactly what the issue was around before, where too many players got killed. When Nexus was only on the pistols, they will probably have no problem securing this right now, getting the third on the board on the terrorist side. But it's a classic back and forth. We've seen it on 2 maps already, because no map was really like, okay, this team dominated, this team really showed how good they are. It was always really, really tight, really, really close. Now it's about Frozen to get those close range angles, close range tracks as well. Frozen finds one, but that's not enough. The pistols are doing good work once more. That is really surprising, because Extatus are capable of doing great amounts of damage with the handguns.
3 versus 3, still Extatus trying to find themselves back in with the man trade, but SXE takes one down, and there's BT, and he finds out Questone eventually back towards that cubby hole in that corner. Still not going to happen though, still not going to be much of an advantage for anyone at this point. One play left alive for Extatus, of course. Nexus do have the man advantage, but Extatus, this is an eco round, this is going to be basic pistols for them. And there it is, Jaxi takes down Devil. It's the last man standing. Extatus does fall now. Currently starting to balance out for the CTs. 48.50 at maximum on Frozen. No money for an AWP unless someone wanted to go glass cannon, but that's not going to be the case. Frozen and everybody else will buy up into the rifles. 3 M4s for Master UMP. Smokes, flashbangs, all the works. Limited utility for the Extatus side versus the Nexus who have themselves full sets across the board. AKs and everything. And will slowly make their way in towards B site along this. Looks like an early play in towards B.
And on B side, on Cobblestone, you can do a lot of things right with just positioning. Questone, for example, he chooses to do an aggressive positioning, stands behind the smoke, and it would have not actually been necessary to shoot that early, because if you had to take a look at it, it was spotted out. He could have just backstepped one after another. But Nexus is now getting their way onto the side. Flashes are raining in and will get problematic for Extatus. It is already problematic for Extatus because as we see, they're pretty much put down to one position because the smokes are building that wall and makes it impossible for Extatus to walk through in that 3 versus 3.
Take on for Extatus, and Monty's trying to get some serious damage on the board, but Zello's not falling. Jax is going to take down Zedco. He's back to a 2-on-3. He just needs to land the headshot. Zello, yes, he finds one onto Monty now, all on Frozen to try and make the CT retake work. It's just not going to happen. 3 easy kills go to the favor of the Nexus side. They take themselves a 2-round advantage against the Extatus lineup, and just like that, after that round, you can see the economy is not sitting right for Extatus once again. Back to his position as we saw on Cash, where they struggled to get their money sorted out in the early part of the matchup. Just P250s, just Deagles, just CZs. Kevlar on Quest on a flashbang as well for Frozen, but other than that, not really a whole lot to work with for this CT side. This should, on paper, be around for the next lineup. There should be around that BTS is going to be using to try and farm up as much money as he can. He'll start to look at the great $600, but here come the pistols. Monty gets himself 2 nice headshots onto Cosmin, and Zello SXE does try and back to a 2-on-2 and a 1-on-2. As Jaxi comes in onto Zedco. A lot of damage being done to this T side. However, bomb's been dropped. They can go back and pick it up. And now Frozen, not much he can do from his position here. It looks like it's going to be a 5th round, barely on the board for Nexus, but Extatus doing a serious amount of damage.
And I'm always asking myself how. You know, how is that possible? This is like the 3rd round where Nexus runs into those pistols and gets pretty much nearly fully decimated. Adaption is just non-existent pretty much for those guys from Romania, but here comes a dink. Actually, I think it was at least a good amount of damage that has been dealt here onto Jax, but doesn't change anything up. 5-2 lead for the terrorist side on Cobblestone. This is a great opportunity to advance, to just bring it further and further, and to get a safe buffer against that Extatus team who showed how good they can actually be.
The problem with Extatus though is that their rifle rounds don't go as well as their pistols, like someone just said in chat. Should probably end up being Extatus just using their pistols, and that's about it. Don't even bother with the rifles, because right now Nexus are failing their hardest at the anti-ecos. And Extatus need to do a little bit more than just that in those eco rounds, in those force buys. Just get yourself at some sort of round on the rifle. This could be the opportunity here. AWPs and 4 M4s up against the 5 AKs, but Jax has got himself a very good area out to a very good position out towards the next area. Takes himself 2 kills. Zedco comes back with 2 more against the 3 versus 3. SXE moving around towards the long area of the fountain. 46 HP on Zedco. He's going to be first man in. Frozen there with a rotation. A panic spray coming in from SXE. He's trying to land himself a lucky headshot, if not just some damage onto the rest of the CT players. 3 versus 2. Molotov's out. Bomb has been planted. Zedco down to 19 HP. Does get dinged up by Cosmin, but Cosmin does get taken down. And now there comes Zello taking down Extatus. Last man alive is Frozen, and there is not much going down there. 6-2. Pause coming in. Extatus need a tactical.
Yeah, this is exactly what they need just right here, because can't just continue like this. This is not the way you're going to do this. Extatus not even having a good economy right now for a decent buy. Probably go for the 5-7, and then Nexus will run in once more, and it will be the 3rd for Extatus. This is pretty much a classic prediction when we have seen what can happen there on to the B side. But for real, Nexus, I don't understand how they not adapt there on the B side. I think they must have some kind of awareness when Extatus is going to buy, when they have just that decent pistols or not, and they're continuously doing the same mistake over and over. Costed at least once nearly the round, and it did cost their round once, so adaptation is definitely necessary for Nexus, but let's see what Extatus can do with the pistols. There comes a force from Monty, who brings himself onto that UMP, and armor is underneath the 2000 border, and we're going to see what they can do with just what they have in their hands. Extatus down 2-6.
Just basic pistols once again for Extatus. A force bar coming on through in Nexus. They're going to take full advantage of such. BTM with the MAC-10 going to come straight on through towards Zedco. Takes him straight out. The action of 5-on-4. Easy $600 for the man on the T side. And now see if we can make it a little bit more than that. Fortunately, Quasar does come in and trade it back to the 4-on-4. There is a MAC-10 for Extatus to work with now, but that's not much. And you can't seem to find any vision here. Smoke in the way. Devil will get down one, however, and Quasar coming back. Actually, they're coming back pretty nicely. Extatus now will turn it into a 1 versus 4. Frozen gets SXE. Nice headshot with the P250. And now Jax, last man alive, 1 versus 3. Spots out 1, spots out the second. And now looking for Monty as well. 2 angles as we need to come back into this one. Nexus are still holding on with a fight. A quad kill clutch is what Jaxi needs. Brings one back, spots that Monty, takes down the headshot, and now it's all on Frozen. One head is either what one of these two players need. Frozen will spot at the cross. Bomb's been dropped, not planted, 45 seconds, and Jaxi finally spots out the last CT, looking for Frozen, and he will find it. Quadra kill for Jaxi in that round, 7-2. And Extatus looking broken once again. Will buy up, double up set up in play, and once you reach this point, once you get in the double up setup, what more can you do for Extatus? The Nexus are absolutely crushing them at every single corner here.
No, it more likely bothers me, and I'm always asking myself, how is it possible that only those pistol bring it into such situations? But for some reason, there's a magic recipe Extatus found to shut down Nexus when they're on the ZZs and co. But take a look how the close range setup is going here from Monty as well as Request, and they're pretty much playing the same angle. Want to grow aggressively. Monty can do so. Goes in the right corner and probably tries to play it sneaky. Maybe making some crossfire. There comes Queston. Perfectly executed right here. Gets the first crack. Monty Cello. The 7.62 shots are raining onto Monty, and this is now the information to Queston. He knows they're definitely coming here, and all I need to do is just shoot. Forgets a lot of damage dealt to SXE, but this is all he's going to find. Rotation back onto the Nexus side. 4 versus 4, and with 60 seconds left on the clock, there are a lot of tactical opportunities still left for Nexus.
4v4, 55 seconds left, and as you say, a tactical opportunity is available for Nexus, but Angels is not one of them. BTN and SXE down on health, 62 and 13 respectively. The double up is still in play for Extatus. One wrong pick into one wrong player. It means that the CTs end this round here and finally net themselves a third. Extatus need to find a third at this point. This map is running so far away from them. They are down 5 rounds against Nexus is 7-2. 25 seconds on the clock. Jaxi is getting himself into the long area of A site. Smoke out towards connector. Here come the flashbangs. They're going to be executing very quickly here. Zedco going to move out towards the hut. See if he can spot out one. So what's up? BTN actually does take the kill as BTN's face is back from the connector area. Zedco taking him a second. SXE gets frozen, opens up the site and seeing if he can get the bomb down for Cosmine as well. Bomb gets planted. Zedco goes down. SXE with another kill right there. It's 2 versus 2. Devil comes up with the AWP, taking one out on the SXE player. All Questone coming in from CT. Connector now walking for one shot here. Devil just needs to find one peek, and indeed he will. Cosmine goes forward and Questone with a bait and switch, and there it is. Defuse comes out. Extatus playing themselves a third.
Yeah, it was so close once more, getting the double up setup back on the board for Extatus. If I'm not totally wrong, you said at the beginning of this round, what more can you do than bring up that double op setup? And kind of did something right here. It kind of did something, but way too close once more for the Czech-Slovakian mix. And Nexus, I mean, take a look at this. They can still afford all this utility and all the AKs. They can shut down Extatus once more. And it's a psychological thing, because if you give them that one round and they suddenly lose once more again, they're just like, yeah, maybe that was a lucky one. Maybe that was just, we did it this way. And that hurts to see. That hurts to feel also when you're playing on your own and you don't get consecutive streaks. This is something you definitely don't want.
Double up Mac in play for Extatus. Of course, it worked out well from the last round, but it's still a huge investment for them here. $800 at maximum on Monty individually. And other than that, Extatus are not looking great on their utility as well. Incendiaries, a single smoke, a few flashbangs, a grenade. Versus Nexus, who have full sets across the board, and they're using it pretty sparingly as well. A minute to go. Nexus back in towards that halls area, up towards that boost spot. Could very easily be a boost push here towards A side here, or B side for that matter. Actually, just getting control of drop down, getting control of connector means that you can go anywhere once again. So Nexus getting themselves a decent amount of map control, and smokes out, flashbangs out in towards the B site. Either they're trying to sell a fake or they're going to go quickly in towards this site here, and it looks like it's going to be quickly into the site. Flashbangs are out, smokes will cover up the crosses of the Extatus crossfires here. SXE going to get out first pick, but here comes 2 more back from the CT side, and now the AWP from Questone's going insane. 3 picks for him, shuts down every single player that peeks out into his crosshair. 7-4, Extatus claim themselves the 2nd round in a row. Nexus, economy's looking low. They're going to go for the Tech 9 half-buy in this next round.
Yeah, and that is the way maybe Nexus can find their way back into this, because those quick attacks, I actually expected them to go dropper with this. They had so many options to say we go close range duels, we just get one by one in that section, but no, that is definitely not what they're going for. It's only Frozen with the AK who needs to find so many players of Nexus, and here he gets already down to 42 HP, and the techs are making their way onto this. It is the rotation that comes in right now. Cosme gets one, Devil also gets shut down, and it's getting problematic right now for the Extatus site, as it is only onto that op that needs to find Nexus entirely, and it's pretty much impossible at this point. The bomb plant is coming up, and Nexus, 99% chance to secure the 8th.
1v3 Questone. This has gone so wrong as well. Extatus, 2 good rounds trying to shut down Nexus, and Nexus trying back with not a full buy, a half buy, and they find themselves a bomb plant. They find themselves a 2-man advantage. They probably going to be finding themselves the 8th round here, and this T side has gone so right. Extatus, the question at the moment is, are they relying on that T side to try and bring the comeback against the Nexus side? We'll find out shortly, as 8 rounds will be on the board for Nexus. That's round 12 going to their favor. Still 3 more to go before they swap over. Extatus, you know, I think they'll probably be looking for a little bit more than 11-4 scoreline. That would be pretty tragic for them, because that basically means that you're a pistol and a rifle away from losing the whole series. And when you've come this far, when you've forced the issue of a second map, you don't really want to lose this one. You don't really want to lose it. You really want that land final spot. And considering this is a land final spot match here, there's a lot of pressure for these guys. There's a lot riding on this one, and both of them want to go to Belgrade. They want to go to Serbia. They want to play in that grand final. And Extatus, well, this round does not look like the round that will take them to that spot. AWP safe from the last round. Deagles, CZs 5-7. Oh, CZs, excuse me. That's it.
Yeah,
8-4 in favor of Nexus.
And totally in the favor of Nexus. I mean, double digits are already possible. They could bring it to that 10-5, or more likely said, yeah, 10-5, 11-4. Highly possible right here. And the bigger issue is the CT side. I mean, on a map like Cobblestone, there's no real CT massive difference when it comes to the balancement, because every team plays that so much separately. But Nexus on the CT, when they just need to hold, when they just need to defend, and they're onto double digits, that could be just an easy victory for them. But Extatus, we've seen it already on the last map. We've seen it already on the first map. They're capable of bringing in really good performances.
One's not committing to a site just yet. That towards that Dragon Room. And Nexus got themselves 3 men out towards the B side. They've also got a Lurker on A. Actually, if they don't get caught off a little bit too easy, then Cosmin could have got himself 2 nice frags, but not going to happen so far. 30 seconds, he will go down, and finally, within the latter part of this round, they will find a first pick. Here we go, AWP doing some good work for Questone, but now the execution on the B side is where things are going to get pretty ugly for the CTs. Monty goes down immediately. Now the Deagle from Zedco trying to land something on towards one of these T-side players. Bomb's got to go down, and there comes the 1 dig onto BT, and the man advantage is still in the favor of Nexus, or Extatus, excuse me, as Frozen comes in, takes down SXE. It's 2 versus 4 now, and they're just trying to see if they can land a couple of easy shots onto the last remaining T-side players. 2 versus 3 as Zello gets Devil. Jax comes in, takes back 1. Frozen with a quick trade of 2 versus 1 now. And AWP watching the cross, and they will be able to hold it together. Extatus, who an unlikely round, will prompt Nexus into a couple of mistakes, and they find themselves a 5th.
Wow, I think wow is pretty much the word that sums that up, because Nexus should be onto double digits. As mentioned, you know, double digits easily for them, but for some reason, it is Extatus taking this one, bringing it back to the double op setup, getting all the utility you're dreaming of as a CT and Nexus now. I mean, the majority of them still has good utility. They still have great grenades. They have all those opportunities, but they gotta bring it in use. The most important is Counter-Strike. It's about finding frags, you know, and Nexus is a little bit lagging in the last round to really find those final frags, to get it executed pretty much. And this is the point where they have to shut down Extatus, and a double up setup doesn't help Nexus the slightest bit with that.
No ops for the Nexus side, meanwhile. Only the full AKs. A bit of a balk to buy with the utility base of things. Very limited along most of the T-side players. Few smokes, few flashbangs. And not a whole lot left in the reserves for Nexus. Vice versa for Extatus, actually, now that I make a mention to it. This round could be Extatus's 8-7, or it could be Nexus's 10-5. Either way, Extatus want this round. They need this round. This will be, once again, another very close half that they can work off the T side with as well. 45 seconds on the clock. Double AWP still in play. Frozen with an M4 is watching that angle that Cosmine could very easily get peeked in towards and get taken down with. There it is. Early tag damage comes on through. Not a whole lot in the grand scheme of things, but here comes the backstab from Jaxi. Takes down Frozen. Back for 5-on-4 immediately. 30 seconds on the clock now. Tag damage coming on in, but Queston's going to get himself back. Spot 3. AWP too close in the range. He's going to get taken down, and there comes BT onto Monty. It's a 2 versus 4, 1 versus 4. As Extatus get cleaned up again. All Devil, all 1 versus 4. It's just not going to happen. BTN takes himself a double kill. And a 9th round on the board for Nexus.
What a horrible feeling right now when you get that double op setup, when you get a perfect defense, all you're looking for, and you're still losing this in such a manner, in such a fashion. Not really satisfying here for Extatus, you have to say, as Nexus getting themselves once more on full AK and utility, while what we're seeing here on the board is more likely just a joke. 2 5.7s, 2 UMPs, and a FAMAS that Extatus has to work with. Definitely not favorable when it comes to defending. And as we see, it is necessarily this guy Frozen, that 14-year-old talent who has not been really stepping up in this game to show how much he can hold off those guys from Nexus, because they're coming closer and closer, and it's just a matter of seconds till they come around the corner.
Frozen got sort of 5-7. He's in a very good spot to try and take these 2 down, but instead Jaxi spots it out. He reads it so well. 2 kills for him. SXE comes in with 1 more on the other side of the map. It's all falling apart so quickly for Extatus. The force buy does not go well, and it looks like Nexus is going to clean things up for a 10-5 scoreline here. Zedco goes falling, all on Devil, 1v5. So unlikely in connector. Even SXE is setting up a backstab. This is just going to be GG right here. He takes down 1. 10-5 will be the end of the half. Nexus doing absolute work on their T side. Can Extatus do the same is the question here.
I mean, we've already seen it on Cash, how much a lead and how much an entire streak can go wrong, right? We don't have the same on Cobblestone. Nexus just need to do a perfect CT half, just say, okay guys, we're just holding ourselves, get some beautiful USP and armor in this, and then we're good to go. And we're going to see how they play. What I'm really interested is how their buy is going to look like. All still on the $800. There comes the kit. There comes 1 more piece of armor, and it's up to Jax. This is classic. SXE is going to be that utility support player in that round, and he needs to do massive work, at least with that kit. It's classic. He has that ninja setup with the smoke and the kit. But the question is, will Extatus even bring it so far to get that bomb planted? Because here's already information given away for Frozen.
Quick play from Extatus in towards A site, trying to find as much map presence as they can, but they're going to hold their tongue and prompt down Nexus to try and make a rotation. They're going to hold this back and wait for the resets to come through from the positions from this CT side. Double flash smoke from Monty as well. He's playing out towards the A site itself. He's going to smoke off that cross from Connector. It's still going to enable 1 player to push out, but Queston and Zedco, they're going to try and Monty comes in with 1 more out towards Connector. Zedco's going to take himself a double just like that. Extatus find their way into a pistol, and it's going to be all Zello. Can't do anything from his angle, and Frozen shuts him down. Easily done from the Extatus side. Push Nexus away, put them into disarray, and then got themselves a lurker that shut the whole effing show down. 6-10. Nexus in the lead, but Extatus, a very quick and clean pistol.
I'm really impressed by your family friendliness there. I really gotta say, I probably would have not gone that far to say just PG. I would have gone full way, but you know, you're the experienced one here with that tournament, and you're seeing that already. You already bring up consolidation routes or whatever it is, so that is actually one of those. So just seeing that right here, Nexus need to bring something up with those pistols they have in their hand. Close range duels there in Dropper, that's really possible, because 2 of them are waiting here. Zedco and Frozen. I mean, once they get into this, that could just work out fully fine, but we need to get into this first of all. And Extatus, what will happen, technically speaking, they will get themselves onto 8 rounds. And then we're going to see what will happen with Nexus. If they either bring it back, or if it will be those guys from Extatus taking this home, as we see a silent rotation coming over. Cosmine is the only player that can hold them off just right now. If they come through middle, he's the one with the 5-7 and needs to do work. But as 55 seconds are left on the clock, Frozen and his team need to make a decision right now.
Here it comes. Small Molotov out to try and push Cosmine away from that corner angle, but check your right-hand side, guys. The other corner indeed will make that known. Takes down one kill, Frozen there with a quick trade. And now it will just be the T side making their way quickly on towards A side once again. 2 players are standing for Nexus to try and make this work. It's just not going to happen. 4 stay alive for Extatus. 7 to 10. And here comes the eco from Nexus as well. Not much going for them. Just the basics, P250s, P2Ks, USPs. This should be an easy Extatus round. But Devil and Zedco into aggressive angles with those UMPs. Far up the money. Try to take down the Nexus side because there's not really much going for them in this round. They need to put some serious damage on the board. And when you're taking 1v1s like that, the T side are going to win every single time. Jaxi also going to see what he can find. But again, there's nothing going here. It's going to be an 8th round on the board for Extatus. I really like it. Oh, well.
Yeah, this is pretty much already done. It's BTN who can try his best, but there comes the shots for the smokes. 45 ACP ammunition fully into the body of him. And that is Nexus now going for the buy. And it's Jax who takes up his op. The rest sticking with the classic M4s. And it's not a now or never situation. It's not do or die yet. But it is just, you know, don't get Extatus more and more rounds. Because if they gather more and more, the economy will rise. We know terrorist economy way more easier to gather. And Jax should really find something right now, because his positioning could make it work out. But if they once get close range, it gets problematic for the op.
Yeah, it is as you say, you know. Don't let Extatus get any more rounds. Don't gift them. Use your M4s, use your AWPs. And try shut them down in the best way that you can, because one more round here and Extatus might just be able to even the scoreline against the Nexus side. So, starting to get a little bit ropey for the CTs. Bombs in middle on the back of Questone in water. Hoping to move slowly on towards his A site. They have got to deal with the AWP of Jaxi. Minute to go, he is holding a pretty passive angle. We're expecting him to come peeking on through with a boost, but if not to be the case here. And Nexus, most presence on the B site, one also in connector to try and rotate if the push comes out. And indeed, it will be coming out. But once again, there's this lurk coming in from Zedco. He may be able to shut down one of the rotating CTs. He cannot be absolutely beautiful with Monty. He's the one that starts things off. SXE gets frozen and Monty comes in with a quick double. They know there's one out towards the balcony. The MVP is watching the angle. Devil takes him down. You still got Zedco. Knows that Zello's down. Takes him out very easily. $600 in the bank for the lone T player on the lurk. All BTN now 1v4. He knows this is impossible. He knows where Nexus stand. And he knows the best play here is to save and allow Extatus the 9th. Try to bring things back. Or steal around away before they get to 10.
I just have no good feeling about this. I just, you know, my body, my heart, every portion of me says Nexus will really struggle and this match will go on for a very long time. Because the typical thing that is going to happen, Extatus will take something like an 11 or 12-10 lead. Suddenly Nexus comes back and it's going to be 14-14. Something like that. I just see it coming. I just see it coming that one team will definitely start to choke, then the other one does, and in the end, we're so close to overtime. It's typical, but first of all, we're seeing that 9 to 10 is on to Extatus, while Nexus suffers massively from the low economy they're playing with. 4 AKs, or more likely 4 rifles, and 1 op on the side of the terrorists that will make it so easy for them to just secure the double digits if, and that is the important thing, if Nexus doesn't come up with something crazy, or something great. And I ask you, Jamie, do you believe in miracles?
Depends what kind of miracles you're talking about. I've seen some decent miracles in my time. But for Nexus this round, well, I mean, it's definitely possible. It's plausible. I'm not going to say that I haven't done this before. But it is very unlikely that a miracle comes out here today. The M4 is in play for BTN, so he's going to have to be a pretty key power player for Nexus. He's going to have to be one of the key fraggers for the CT side if he wants to bring them into a good round here against Extatus. Maybe some damage on the board is what they're looking for, but I certainly wouldn't say an 11th round. Plausible, but not very likely. 5-7s with Kevlar, Deagles, USPs, M4s. Out to defend with very standard angles from the Nexus side. Minute to go for Extatus. A site's open, and that looks like most likely where they're going to be going here. They're out towards middle and slowly making their way down in towards the door. Looking for one of the Nexus players to be playing aggressive. They're expecting the aggressive play, but in this case, Nexus aren't going to buy it. It looks like it's going to be a late play in towards the A site, and indeed Devil will start things off by taking the first frag onto BTN.
And that execution, that won't be the slightest bit of a problem as the rifle's already out of the game. Nexus fight with 4 pistol players. Okay, there comes one welcome. That could just go any further. And if Cosmin makes his rotation right, exactly what we expected. 2 versus 2, and 2 rifles are now onto the Nexus side. Here comes the op of Devil. And do we see a miracle? We've just talked about it at the beginning. I mean, you believe it, I do believe it. But what kind of miracle do they need to perform? What kind of miracle does the Romanian player SXE need to bring up right here? Well, he's not in a Disney movie. That is a 10 to 10. And Extatus bring it to the tie.
Nicely done there from Nexus to at least hold things down. With just pistols at their helm, you know, serious damage to the Extatus side is going to chip away at their economy. You can already see that some of the cracks are starting to show. Frozen and Monty down to $2,036 respectively. There is still a lot of opportunity for Nexus to work with. They need to shut down this round first, force the rebuy from Extatus, and then work off of that, work off the economy issues that they will have in the next couple of rounds with the rebuys. Nexus with a double orb setup as well, a huge investment, which is a huge risk. They are 6 rounds away from losing this series, so they need to be put into great effect in this next round if they want to come back against the Extatus lineup here. A 10 to 10 scoreline. Extatus finally evening things up, and they got 4 players stacked in towards the B halls. Bombs out there as well. More than likely this will be a B commitment. There's more than likely be a B execution. 3 smokes to be working with. 5 flashbangs, a grenade, a couple of molotovs. This is looking pretty likely. In fact, the flashbangs will be going over. We'll start to make themselves long control. And look for the opportunity to execute onto B side. So that's got little something else to say. He takes down that first, looking for his second. The Devil with a quick trade is back to a 4-on-4.
And the punishment of that op repeat directly came in, but the question, will that punishment from Extatus will also now fall onto the entire Nexus side? Zetko with a headshot that was just beautifully executed, but the 3 versus 3, the men are falling on each site. And the bomb has to be planted. This is where those guys from Extatus need to start, but they rather start with finding 2 frags. Jax with the op against 3 players. And I mean, you can do a lot of stuff right here. You can try to play it aggressive. But one of the key issues Nexus is facing is money. 11th will be on the board for Extatus, and nothing else those guys from Nexus can afford right now. So basically, the key issue, Extatus gaining round after round, because Nexus is getting pretty much in a loophole with economic problems.
Yeah. That's the main risk that they took when buying the double orb setup for Nexus. You know, when you invest that much into a round, you need to get yourself around. And not only do you need to get around, you need to make it clear. You need to make sure that both those orbs go into play. You need to make sure at least one of the other rifles go into the next round as well, because otherwise you're going to be losing a huge amount of investment. You can't win a round with just one player staying alive, and vice versa. You can't end up losing a round even if one player does end up surviving. 11 to 10, favor of Extatus, and the money isn't sitting right for Nexus once again. As you said, economical problems up the wazoo for the CT side. P250s, 5.7s, Deagles, grenade, flashbang and smoke, Kevlar and helmets, diffuse kit on Jax as well. And it looks like he's going to go aggressive with the AWP pick, see if he can try to find one on the Extatus players here in long, but nothing comes of it just yet. You're still going to be a 5-on-5 early, take damage onto the AWP player, and Extatus looks very, very aggressive to use those rifles to their favor against the pistols. However, Zetko and Foden, they're getting tagged down pretty nicely. This grenade actually might do the damage. If it lands onto one of them, no, it doesn't. It barely misses. The serious damage being done to Zetko and Frozen. However, it's going to leave him in a very bad spot here as SXE with the counter boost does get taken down. Nexus, at least a decent play will net themselves a health advantage, but not the man advantage here.
It's really insane. Those pistol shots really working out right here. Queston tries to make it away from behind. There's a problem when you have that movement stuck. Then you're in a tricky position. Something out of this gets pretty much circle as there comes BTN from behind. Still man advantage is the Extatus. Frozen an easy target for any of the CTs. And now it's just about not taking too many 1 versus 1. Now it's just about not losing the duels. Totally unnecessary. Frozen wants to make his way in from behind. Sneaks up onto the op. But reconsiders his status a smart idea, because that crossfire they're building is just so good. There is the op finding the young talent, but Devil gets Jax. 12 to 10. I mean, faith is a big thing for us casters. We're not allowing each other. We're not allowing us to be biased. But do you think Nexus can really bring this back somehow, magically?
There's a lot of work for them to do. Extatus have proven that this is definitely their favorite to the T side. 7 rounds on the board in a row for this T side, for Extatus. And Nexus have scored nothing in this half. This has been a terrible half for the Nexus side. Had a great T-side half. I think that's more just down to the map balance of these two teams really working off the advantages that this map brings on T-side. And as a result, we're seeing this situation where we're seeing two very one-sided T-sides. And it's just the case that Nexus' CT side is just a little bit weaker than Extatus. 12-10. And Nexus need to pull something serious out of the hat. At this point, if they lose this next round, they better start calling a pause. Or SXE might not necessarily need it. He's going to take down Frozen. Already Devil's gone down earlier in the map thanks to the AWP play of Nexus. And a minute to go for these CTs to try and bring themselves an 11th round against the Extatus side. 5v3, 2-man advantage for the CTs. Cosme's going to be defending on the A side pretty deep into the long area.
Look at exactly.
If they're not careful. Let's see what happens.
Take a look at that. I was just wanted to talk about the control they're just taking so silently about. This could work out so well. Questone. Now he makes steps, but he will meet PTN. Oh, he does not get that shot. That is horrible, but the Flames are doing the work. The grenade rains nearly there onto the ops. Xello still stands up there onto the balcony. The bomb plant could just happen if that wouldn't be shut down. Monty versus Foreign. Those chances with 20 seconds, yeah, they're near to 0.
This is what I was talking about with Cosme's positional advantage. He held a very aggressive angle up towards A long, and no one checked it. No one from the T side thought that they'd be playing so aggressive the Nexus side. They thought they'd be scared, and in this case, that caught them so far off guard. That came out of so far out of left field that Cosme was able to net himself a 3k by the end of that round. A beautiful round from Nexus. Net themselves back in with an 11th round, a potential lifesaver in this series. Still the double AWP in play, save from the last round. Economy still trying to build up for this CT side of the reinvestment is coming in with the M4. 2 AKs also in play for Nexus, so still a chance here for Extatus to reset them and take this one over the edge. Nexus playing for a lead, playing for potentially overtime at this point. Still a little bit too early to call that one out just yet, but either way, there's a lot of potential for a lot of different things to happen here. Nexus trying to even the scoreline. They need to even the scoreline as the bomb makes its way out towards middle. Extatus, trying to see if they can play for A here.
Yeah, it just gets problematic with the money, because when we take a look at that, 1-8, 2-5, yeah, they're all pretty much under average except Cosmin. If Extatus takes this home, and I mean the chances are existent, they have all what they're looking for. If Jax wouldn't be there taking the man advantage onto the side of Nexus, then it could end horribly right now for the Romanians. But first of all, we need to see what they're playing, because they're pretty much scattered just at 1 point. And the time is ticking low, and it is Nexus realizing what's up, because the rotation from BTN comes. 3 players will wait that Extatus does that mistake, and there comes one. Cosmin just stands around the corner, finds one. No, actually not, because there is the op doing the work. 2 versus 4. Extatus not in a good position right here.
BTN gets one, it's all Frozen. 1 versus 3, takes the first face, looking for a second now. And he's got to get a bomb plant as well. He's got to find something. 10 seconds, he's got to do it now. Bomb goes down. SXE closing the gap right there. His takedown, he does come in, and SXE closes it down. Not even a bomb plant allowed for the Extatus side. 12-12. And this has not gone well for the teaser. They've lost themselves 2 rounds, and now the money's looking a little bit awkward. Force buy can be available for them. And a pause coming in. It's actually going to be an attack pause. It's been 16 rounds or so since we last saw the attack pause, and even then it was from the Extatus side. They're going to think about this real long and hard. They're a fantastic T side, but there's still that lead of Nexus that Nexus had in the first half to be contending with here for Extatus. They've got to find a way to break it. They've got to find a way to definitively find themselves around. They've got to find a way to really ramp up the pressure against this CT side, because now this one's all up in the air.
Yeah, it is pretty much all up in the air, as you say. But, I mean, all the maps we've seen, they go back and forth, and at one point, it crystallizes who's going to be the victor of it. On this map, on Cobblestone, we're not really experiencing that yet, because everything is still open, everything is still possible. And now the tactical pause has ended. It is about Extatus, the team of Frozen, to decide how they want to approach this, because it can't go like this anymore. The double op setup now also exists on Nexus. They got a great defense working just right now. And it's up for discussion how this will end, because I have the feeling, and I personally see, that Cosmin will get 1, maybe 2, but that will be it. Oh, 2? Okay, there we go. Prediction just on point with this one.
Still a man advantage for Nexus, though. Deal with the bomb information as well for Nexus. They know exactly where they're going to be going. And they're going to be waiting out for the push to come in from the Extatus lineup. Still 4 versus 3. Nexus have themselves an opportunity here. Minute to go. Jaxie watching at the AWP angle, and if they push up towards long, this one could end up getting shut down so quickly. And for Extatus, after a tactical pause like that, you don't really need that kind of thing to go down. He'll drop the bomb. Information given for the CT. Rotations coming in thick and fast. The second AWP is already in position. Zello takes down 1, and SXE takes down Zco as well. 13-12. Nexus will shut down Extatus on the round that they really didn't need to be shut down on. And now the economy isn't well looked for Extatus. Potentially a very, very awkward buy up here. No, it's going to be the standard eco for the Extatus side. Quick stop, actually. Quick, okay, technical pause coming in for these guys here. Don't worry. The match is still at 13-12, despite what the scoreboard says. It's just E-bot. We're getting ourselves the round replay. I'm hearing it's a monitor issue for Extatus, so bear with us just a second. We'll get this one back in, but either way, Extatus, there needs to be some serious thinking going on with this team.
But I mean, how do you do a monitor issue? Like, did you just accidentally pull out the cable, or did you just shut down the monitor for no apparent reason, actually? Like, I mean, how do you do a monitor issue? For real, does he punch in the monitor and switch it? Is that also an option?
I mean, like, I guess that there's a certain... here's the thing, right? When I'm going to assume that they're using DVI cables or the VGA cables or something like that. So you have to require to screw in the connection. If you don't, you can still pop it in and just not screw it in. But the problem is that it's very unstable. And maybe it's a case that some sort of table vibration was slowly pushing it out of the way, and eventually it just came loose. The monitor went down, or maybe it's just the fact that the monitor is just being faulty, or something's going on like that. There's a lot of real options that could be.
Tell me, who does not put in the screws?
I used to not put in the screws.
What kind of human are you to not fully screw that thing in? I mean, this is like, you know, doing this is like putting milk and then cereals in your bowl. This is the same exact thing. It's humanly not acceptable to not put in the screws, and it's also not acceptable to put in milk and then the cereals. This is not acceptable. No.
So cereal goes in first before the milk, right?
Yes, of course. What did you do your entire life? I have to ask
no. I put the cereal in first. It's a bit of two extreme comparisons. Not screwing in the DVI cable and putting in the cereal before the milk. Like,
I think it works. I don't know what you did in your life, but
all right, you do you. But either way, it's a monitor issue. Looks like we're going to get back into this one relatively quickly here. 13-12 for Nexus. Once again, the economy is pretty booked for Extatus. It looks like they're going to go for an eco. A couple of bits of utility here and there. Smoke and a Molotov for Questome. And it looks like, well, we're ready to get started here. It looks like Extatus are going to go for, well, very close to overtime here. They want to try to see if they can take down Nexus when they hit 14 rounds. Since double up AK and 2 M4s versus P250s, Deagles, and no utility of any, or no substantial utility or armor of any kind, I think we know which one wins this fight. Indeed, Zello is just going to prove that point by their first phase takes down 1, second phase spots out all the T-side players, and all the rotations will be coming in from the rest of the Nexus side to try and shut this one down. Indeed, they will. Contact Zello picking things up very nicely. SXE with one this time back. And there it is, 14-12. Nexus, a very nice scoreline, a very nice round there off the back of the eco from Extatus, and this is where things get really hairy for the T side. They need to win this round, else Nexus are going to Belgrade. They are going to the LAN finals, and Extatus will be going nowhere.
This is the do or die round. You pretty much stand there on the cliff, and there are two options. You get yourself back, or you'll fall down a bit. And now it is just about Extatus to rescue yourself, get back onto your feet, and make it possible to get there in Belgrade. Like you said, LAN experience at LAN final is always a great thing to have on your board. And I mean, a team like Extatus with ambitions and potential definitely needs something like this on their tournament list. But there comes exactly what they're looking for. Frozen finds the first. The B side is getting a little bit out of hand right now. And oh no, Xello also doesn't hit his shots. The bomb plant is going to happen very soon, but he has the bomb now in his hands. He does find another one. Does he go first. No, he's getting burned alive. Monty with 10. This does not look good for Extatus.
10 HP. Monty has got to find some crisp one-tap headshots with his AK-47. Gets spotted out by Jaxi. Cosmine's coming in the right-hand side. And there it is, 15-12. Nexus take themselves around. The Extatus needed to win instead. This is going to be looking extremely rocky for the T side now. Just when you thought they had brought in the comeback, just when you thought this T side was going to be what Extatus used to run this one, Nexus get themselves out the double up setup, and just like that, their CT side has been absolutely flawless. 5 rounds in a row, full max loss bonus for Extatus, last chance saloon for them. 1 round left in it for Nexus to go to LAN. 4 players snacking their way into the halls of the B site. There is an AWP watching out from Matrix. And they're going to get themselves in towards drop down, look for the opportunity to make their way in towards the site here, but they're going to take things slowly once again. Do not give them a clear advantage. Do not give Nexus the way into the end of the series, because one wrong move and Extatus are done for. One wrong move and Nexus are done with this series. They're going to take it 2-1. Minute to go. T side trying to prompt out some rotations, trying to pull some of the CTs away from the site, but it's going to be execution coming on through very quickly. Zenico spots at the first, takes down SXC, looking for the second. There's the AWP from Jaxi, takes down one. Monty with a quick trade. It's a 4 versus 3, a 2-for-1 that goes to the favor of Extatus, and now they will swarm the A site here. Cosmine out towards the corner, and Devil's going to take him down. So Extatus, we're not done yet. It does not look like we've still got 2 players to be dealing with on the Nexus side. Bomb's going to get planted back behind the hut. Monty spots out one, tags up BTN, looking out for Zello. He's got the AWP. He's up towards the balcony. Takes down Devil, they know where he is, and Monty just needs to peek out and take a headshot, but he's playing very passively. Knows the AWP is a very deadly weapon, but Questone spots out the last, spraying his way manically through the wood, taking some tag damage, but isn't going to be able to find the kill. The fuse kit is still on Zello, and there it is, Frozen will find the last kill. Shows up when his team needs him to do so, and will bring a 13th to the Extatus side.
You know, their head was already in the guillotine, and they just barely put it out of there. Extatus not out of it yet still, because they can still make a lot of things wrong in this one. Aggressive push, they're winning there onto Titanic. Nexus is prepared, 3 players are just waiting on to B for this, and the rotation back is logically happening. The only thing that would be more horrible right now would be just an unnecessary, too aggressive push on a site that has been swamped by Nexus players. So 120 is left on the clock, no real decision has been made by Extatus so far. And Nexus make their rotation back. BTN says, yeah, no one's coming. Let me get back onto this. And it is the classic 2-2 setup we're going to see, with Extatus now getting onto the B side. It will get tricky for those guys from Nexus.
Here we go. Lots of Extatus players swarming, and Frozen will get that first pick. There's SXC coming on through. It's a 2-for-2 now, a 2 versus 2. Bomb's been dropped, but Cosmine comes in with one last pick. It's now all Frozen. Tags him down to 4 HP through the box, through Chicken Coop. Almost found himself a kill, and that could have turned this round right around, but now Cosmine can still take a fight. He can still take a challenge. He will get taken down by Frozen, and now it's all down to the young prodigy of Counter-Strike for a triple kill to save his team in this round, to save his team in this situation. Picks up the bomb. Zello isn't able to land the AWP shot, and there are 25 seconds. Frozen's looking for his pick. He's looking for a way back into this round. He's not going to go for the bomb plant. He's not going to force the issue, because Zello could very easily win this one. And he's watching the cross as well. The bomb plant does not work, and Nexus shut down Extatus. They are going to Belgrade. They are going